So you have to participate, put your request in to participate free before then. So the day before would be the cutoff date. We have Nataraj Abhishekam. So Nataraj gets Abhishekam, meaning it gets to have an elemental hydration, a bath, a sacred bath. That will only occurs 6 times a year. And so that is coming up on Monday. Yes, Monday. And then we have Dr. Pillai's birth star actually is on Ekadashi, which is 11th moon, and that's going over, spanning over in from Thursday the 10th to the 11th Friday, at least here in the Eastern Daylight Savings Time zone. So check it out on AstroVed or Play Center, wherever that is for you. The timing of Purva Bhadrapada is or Purvatati in Tamil, and that is the star for Dr. Pillai, and it falls on 11th moon. Get the blessings of Vishnu and also Dr. Pillai's empowerment to destroy your karma that's blocking your money miracles. Shweta.
Hi.
Hi.
I have another question. So, you know, post transition period, we're still in the 13-day period. So I've been, you know, taking extra time out to connect. And I've been feeling with my brother's soul, but I've been feeling a little bit conflicted around it because I don't want to hold on to it. You know what I mean? Like I don't want, it's soared out and around beyond, which is a complete possibility for who he was and how he lived his life. I don't want to, I mean, I can still connect with it. So I've been writing like whatever comes to me daily. But what I was curious about was with Kala Bhairava and timeline jumping, which you've spoken about in the past. How does connecting with a soul or any ancestors related with Kala Bhairava and timeline jumping?
Yeah,
it's a good multi-layered question, but I'm a little bit not clear. I guess need some little bit of order in my thinking around it.
Sure, it's a great question, and here's the thing. So Kala Bhairava takes us into miracle time. So how we get into miracle time is we get out of slow time. So that's a timeline jump. So you don't physically jump into another altered state or universe, alternate universe. You do with your consciousness. So you're here. So here I am. Here you are. We're connecting, and just imagine your hands being this unit of time. So we're in this time-space continuum. If we're calling on Kala Bhairava, he's not going sideways with time. He's not banging up against our hands and saying, oh, I can't go this way, I can't go this way, can't go to the past, can't go to the future. He doesn't care about that. He's straight up. So timeline jump means you go straight up. So straight up to your highest intelligence, which is miracle consciousness. So that when you're moving into the next time zone, over here, so I'm going to move myself here now because I can't be leaning too far for too long. So we just move from over here. So going up, you're in the future, right? So here's the past, here's the present, here's the future. So if you're in Kala Bhairava time, you are timeline jumping up to levels, higher and higher levels of time, where all these different constructs of time have been manufactured. And in those constructs of time that have been manufactured, or locations of time, lies a deity. They live there, they breathe there, they give blessings there. So for you to get in touch with Kala Bhairava doesn't mean that you're going to forget your brother. Doesn't mean that you're going to forget anyone who has passed. What will happen is you won't be in the energy of it, though. It won't drag you down or pull his soul or her soul in other people's cases. So it will, when we think about them into the world, and they don't want to. That soul left the body because that's the soul's journey. We have to get over ourselves. I'm not saying that you're not, Sweta, you're doing awesome. But however, if that energy comes in, just pay attention to it in that you can here on the earth plane, because this is where we learn mantras. This is where we learn how to do spiritual practices that are going to help those souls. And when we help those souls to evolve, guess what? Our cells get cleared out of their consciousness. They get to go, and all the memories of the past, all the memories of the future, all the memories of the now get all cleaned up. So you can have it, but you're just like, oh, that was cool, okay. Oh, that was terrible, but anyways. So there, you will just not waste time thinking about it and obsessing about it and feeling good, bad, or whatever about it. Is that helpful? Sweet.
Hello? Yes. No, that's great. Yeah. And I mean, it's human to have things come up, memories, and then it's just to like ping it back out and bounce it out and just fall into that like soar, I just want things to keep soaring for him, or that the soul. So just kind of I keep bringing myself to that if, as I'm cleaning out his stuff and, things come up naturally. So honoring that, but then letting it not, like you said, stick. So
yeah. And it
Thank
is,
you.
it's part of our letting go too, because we want to be able to say, this was a beautiful journey, and good and bad and up and down, just like the weather. We can't control it, but it is what it is. And our souls chose to be on this earth plane together at this time, maybe again, maybe in the future, we don't know. But we're going to do what we can now to release, to have that freedom on both sides.
Yeah, and thank you for the miracle consciousness perspective on it too. That's really helpful as well. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Shweta. Good questions. Okay, the call information for the call tonight that I mentioned earlier in the call. The call is for Ceremonies immersion program. Those people who are enrolled in that program, I will be doing a Saturday night call at 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. You should also be able to access that information in your inbox, in your emails. If you didn't, send an email to programs@flycenter.com and say, hey, I'm not on the email list. What's up? And then you should have by now, as you enrolled with the Ceremonies immersion, you'll have access to a course through Fly Center Academy. And then you can log on there, and then it will also give you those time and meeting details. So that's just for the people who enrolled in Ceremonies immersion. One more wonderful reason why you should join. So that's on Saturdays at 10. Okay, so someone is saying, I noticed someone who is a devotee of Babaji and he has Babaji birth chart yantra. What would be the benefits of having that particular yantra as Babaji's birth chart engraved? Also, should we just work with Ceremonies only, or for better results invoke Vishnu? Okay, let's start with the Ceremonies. Just do Ceremonies, yes, and you can call on her consort, because then you have both the male and the female, the masculine and feminine energies for creating wealth consciousness within you. Babaji's yantra, well, some people have it, as I do. It came through a service offered through Fly Center or AstroVed, and why not have that? Because it's the energy of this divine being who has come to the earth plane at this time to educate our souls. So the more energy or intelligence that we have that represents Dr. Fly, the better off you'll be at the level of the soul. Remember, you're not coming to the spiritual path because, just for your material pursuits, because a lot of us have had these experiences where, okay, been there, done that, I'm dead. So you want to feel that experience of connecting with the divine, and how you do that is with someone who can help you navigate that process, because it's a slippery slope sometimes. And as we've heard from members, life happens. Life is big and life is full of good and not so good. So we need to explore whether we would like to have a teacher of this caliber, always guiding us. If that's your thing, then yeah, get the yantra. A wonderful quality sleep is so important. Thank you for sharing your experience. I'm not really sure what that means. Oh, here, Anand. I've struggled to sleep for several years with no sleep aid. The yantra breathing practice and meditation, it's deeper sleep with some fuzzy dreams. I've noticed myself waking up with purpose, sometimes smiling, sometimes laughing or singing out loud. That's awesome, Anand. And that's what happens when we have a touchstone, either in our waking state or in our sleeping state. It will be that which will clear up any negativity that's bombarding us. And we don't even know what's coming at us all the time. We just start to feel something. We feel tired, or we feel foggy, or we feel something, whatever we feel, whether we're awake or sleeping. And in the dream plane, as Dr. Ply shares, you know, we can get a lot of karma resolved. So if you have nightmares, like I was having, probably, I can't even remember the length of time it was, but it was months, where every night I was afraid to go to sleep because all I would think of were, or see, not think, I was seeing it, were war zones and just blood bath everywhere. And this was when I first met Dr. Ply, and I was like, I just want to meditate to just like be relaxed and calm. And then he just opened it all up, right? And so when I met him, he had come to, we all went to Niagara Falls. Well, not all of us, but there's a small group of people. And we were walking along in front of the falls. And he was just saying that, so you dreaming? And I was like, oh my God, just nightmares. So then once that happened, then once he said to me, okay, you're finished, go read the Mahabharata, go read the Ramayana, go read the Bhagavad Gita, which I did, and they're very thick books. But it's all about the human condition. Like they're all about how on the spiritual path, we get on the spiritual path and then we think, oh, it's supposed to get better. Isn't it supposed to be easier? Well, it's not so, just like life, right? So our soul wants to learn something, it wants to do something. So we get on a spiritual path, we read the text, the spiritual text, the sacred texts that tell us how to, how these beings of the past in history, historical account or mythological account, it doesn't matter because it's food for your soul. You can't measure or historically account the experiences of the soul. But in general, we can experience it as we're reading through those books. Now, that was way back when, before the internet, so it's a lot easier now. You can just go onto YouTube and watch the Mahabharata, or you can read, have someone else read the Ramayana to you. You can follow along if you want, but you don't have to go and sit down and read those books because you get in an altered state. You won't be able to read it all at once. So it's, well, you can, but it'd be like a smorgasbord where you eat everything and then you're like, I don't really know what happened, but I feel sick. You know, you're overloaded, right? And then you don't enjoy it at all. So you just take a little bit of food for the soul at a time. And then that will help you to understand that was a prophetic dream. I didn't know at the time. But now there's like 247 wars going on in the world. And I've said this in the past couple of weeks, like I don't even think there are that many countries in the world. That's sad. So there's some battle going on in everyone's country, everyone's backyard. Now, how they measure those wars, I don't know. But the consciousness is there. Even if we're, you know, we put a blinder on it, I don't see you, I don't see you. We feel it. We feel it, especially spiritually evolved beings, because we're so compassionate. We're so porous, maybe that is the word, where we're absorbing the energy and we're like, what is going on here? Mm-hmm. So it's natural for us to want to pray for heaven on earth.
Sukarita?
Yes, Yasmin.
Can I ask you something about a course I saw, timeline jumping course on the
Yes.
last, and when we don't have yet the funds. Have to be careful how I word it.
Yeah.
To participate, you see, in the whole period for Lord Kalabhairava, and I love him very much. So, can I do the timeline jump course and have to use the time and to come closer to him? Would that be a good idea?
Yeah, the timeline jumping course is a course that's offered through Play Center Academy, right? Is that the one you're asking? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that, and that's the way Kalabhairava wants you to do it. So when you get connected with these archetypes, then just trust whatever course is coming to you or whatever service is coming to you is because that archetype is saying you should go to this first. Hello?
Thank you very much. Yes, I will check it out. Awesome.
Yes, check it out, Yasmin.
Yes, thank you.
It's an awesome program, and you will understand time. You will understand timeline jumping. So
The thing is that what I feel is so amazing. I understand myself much better because I have so many experiences for so many years, and it's like you ask yourself, all right, I mean, okay, but now I understand because I have a feedback. And I understand what happened 25 years ago suddenly. I understand suddenly, oh my God, thank you that I have a confirmation. And so I apologize quite often. I said, oh my God, because I thought, Naya, maybe I imagined that, or maybe this or that. And that it's so strong, but you can't share it with anybody, or you feel a bit, who would understand. So now it's so awesome. That's the reason I'm absorbing everything, because the flashes of things have happened and happening, and I feel like, oh my God, I'm so grateful that I understand myself better, and I can appreciate now. I say thank you for 25 years ago. I say, oh my God, thank you for that. You see, so to trust, to learn actually to trust the divine inside of you, to come back into this state of clarity and trust and a confidence, not arrogance or ignorance, a confidence what is natural, because that is who we are. We are divine beings having an experience as a human being here on this planet. And so thank you so much. Awesome. Yeah.
Okay, enjoy timeline jumping.
Yeah.
Great. That's what it is. It's kind of like on the spiritual, just because, as Dr. Ply shared, just because you learn something about your spiritual path at some point in time, what's going to happen is a higher intelligence, or you're going to evolve to that highest intelligence, and your perspective is going to change. It's going to shift. And then you'll have an experience there at that point. And then so whatever worked for you or what hasn't worked for you, it's not the right time. So we just got to keep working it, tweaking it, being with it. And then everything will click, 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 and the whole pieces of the puzzle will be put together, and you will know, oh my God, it was totally divinely guided. And here's the picture of my life. But as your life is rolling out, you're excited. Oh, here's the next piece. Here's the next piece. I wonder how this is going to fit. So be in that state of wonder. Like Christ said, have the wonder of a child, not be like naive. You'll just wonder what's going to guide me next. And then it will be the right piece. And it will just click. And you'll be like, oh my God, there it is. It's finally there. And then next piece. And then it will be in that moment in time that your consciousness is ready to receive. So everybody is going to be, that's the beauty of being with Dr. Ply, is that we have all these teachings in general, and then you got to pick and choose what is right for you. And that's the beauty of it, because you don't want to be doing just everything militantly. Sign up for the military with all those wars. So Anant is saying, Shweta, were you going through a Mars or Ketu Dash at the time of the war dreams? I don't know. Maybe I'll have to check that out. I was going through Rahu, Anant. Rahu probably. I remember that. Major, I don't know, maybe the minor was Mars Ketu, but Rahu is pretty crazy anyways. So Shweta says, we are in Mars and Capricorn, so great time to invoke Kalabharva for planning, right? Absolutely, because Mars in Capricorn, Capricorn is structure. He's the sign of Sagittarius, or sorry, Capricorn is the sign where Saturn sits. Saturn owns that sign, and then Saturn also owns Aquarius. So Saturn is all about administrating things, constructing things, making things to have structure, discipline, so that you can persist easily. You're not scrambling. So Mars will give you that, hey, it's about time, you better do this. Get a good structure, get a good outline, get a good routine, get a good discipline. So that then you're happy and you're passionate about it and you're doing it. You're not slugging against it. So Mars is going to help you to do that. Kalabhairava is going to be bringing in the highest, so that in your structure, you're not going to hang out with the, the lower operators. You're going to be hanging out with the CEO. So everything's going to be high, that high vision. You're going to see it all with Kalabhairava, and then he's going to pump in that miracle consciousness, so all the people under you are going to just fall into place. Sun in Taurus for wealth. Yeah, we're coming into that. So Sun is going to be moving into the second house in mid-month, and that's going to be second house matters, all about manifesting wealth. And second house matters are also creating that structure. So you're quite in alignment, and because it's coming into us all at once, everybody here, that intelligence is coming in. So the questions are surrounding this intelligence. So it's good to get clarity. Jaro says, I shed tears today and you look younger. Thank you, Jaro. And its tears are tears of the divine. The divine is calling us. Our soul is like, I get to be expressed. You're filling up the cup. You're opening me up. And then you're letting it flow in, and you're not releasing it anywhere. It's staying in. And what is this? This is your brain. It tells your body, the rest of the body, what to do. So you'll have more vitality, you'll have more youth, you'll have more light, regardless of age, right? Dreams of Babaji. Absolutely. If you have a dream of Babaji, you have a tremendous blessing, because Babaji is talking to your soul. You won't pay attention during the day so much. You won't have those divine encounters where it's out of the body. So on the dream plane, he may show up as in a picture over there or as a statue over on the other side. He could show up in that form, or a form you're familiar with, but he will also, as he just shared recently in San Diego, he said he shows up in someone's dreams, and he won't always necessarily show up as himself as we know it. He may show up as a different being. However, you will know his intelligence, just like you would, say, for example, you dress up, you go to a masquerade party or Halloween or whatever when you were a kid, and you were behind the mask, right? And people knew sometimes when you spoke, if you didn't, use a different voice over, or they will recognize your eyes, or they will recognize your energy. They knew you were behind it, just so you will know Dr. Pillai Babaji is coming in your dreams in disguise. But he's telling you something about yourself. So whatever that figure is, if it's a monster, then maybe you just got to face your fears, face whatever's scaring the bejesus out of you. So the dreams equate connection to your dreams are karmic. So you can get rid of karma, or you can enjoy karma. Okay, so your dreams are just thoughts that are going on in your subconscious mind when you're sleeping. So Sun is in Aries still, yes. Venus is in Taurus. Taurus is his holiday home. Taurus is the owner of where Venus owns Taurus. Venus also owns Libra. So Sun is just going to be going over into Taurus, and both of those planets are bright, bright. So you'll feel very enlightened, enlivened, and bright. Soul is associated with the sun. So you want to feed your soul with the consciousness of wealth. So then you're in natural time. So Kalabhairava will also help you to align yourself naturally with time. And then you look at it and go, oh my God, that was a Venus horror. That was a sun horror. So if you haven't been able to follow the horrors, this is a great time to call on Kalabhairava to help you to understand that energetically speaking, and then you will be in that state of consciousness. And then you can go and look at it on Horror Watch or AstroVed. Libra is his office where he goes to work. Also, anyone has seen Venus in the sky a few hours before sunrise. Yeah, it's beautiful. Bright star. All right, so that's all on chat, I believe. If I didn't answer your question then, or your comment, then post it to copy and paste it again. Lalita Devi, she has an awesome blog, explains what's coming. Yeah, so Yasmin is great. So people check that blog out on Ply Center blog. Veronica says, I dreamed about Babaji 2 nights in a row. After I saw him in San Diego, he appeared as himself, dressed in white. He was sending me energy and taking negative things away. That's the beauty of going to see him in person, if you can. Guru Purnima is coming up. So here's 3 months notice, everyone, 90 days. If you want to practice your manifestation and connecting with something very beautiful and experiencing heaven on earth, 90 days, you can be at Guru Purnima. I get confused when you speak of a planet in Capricorn example. Do you mean the sun or moon or sun only? Linda. Planets are transiting signs all the time. Okay, so what you will see with this AstroVed calendar, okay, you will see that, for example, this week, Mercury is entering Aries here on this day. So what does that mean? On the 9th, Wednesday, Mercury is going to enter Aries at 8:12 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So what does that mean for you? It means different things. In general, if Mercury is going into a fire sign, it's an air, Mercury is ruled by air. So there's going to be a lot of chatter, a lot of talk, a lot of communication, a lot of things going on. Maybe your intuition is going to be on fire because it's going into Aries, which is ruled by, it's a fire sign. So it's ruled by Mars. Now, the problem with Mercury and Mars energy is that you can have some lively discussions or maybe arguments. So watch out for that. You can also heal through Mercury going into Mars. It can heal that energy because it can make it light. It doesn't have to be on fire and explosive. It can just be like, oh, here we go. So it can be that. It can give you a deep healing. So what you need to know more about it is go get your own chart read. And once you start with that, then you will get an interest. You'll have an interest in where all these planets are transiting and how it relates to you, because your life is all about you, not about a book that you can learn astrology about, right? Who cares about all that stuff? We want the energy to be awakened inside of us. So Yasmin has posted the blog, the sun entering Taurus, and I believe that's the Lalita Devi blog you're talking about there. And then that will help you to get your mind into a state of long-lasting wealth, meaning create wealth, invest, do something that is going to bring more wealth consciousness into your everyday life. Is there a specific time to honor and propitiate Kalabhairava? Yeah, so Kalabhairava at 8 o'clock every night or day, 8 is a number that is associated with Kalabhairava. So 8 o'clock, you can. talk to Kalabhairava. I wouldn't put it to a time. I would just start with the Kalabhairava mantra. Always be doing it. And then you'll find at 8 o'clock that you'll just be drawn to do it, right? So 1 o'clock is also another time that is in a specific program. So just, 1 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock at night. So 1 and 8. We'll start with that. It just be saying Udyamo Bhairava and imagining this lightning rod shooting from your heart, your heart center, and shooting straight up, and then resting 12 inches above your skull, like as if Kalabhairava is here. He's sitting about this point, so he's sitting about 12 inches above your skull. And this is Kalabhairava because you missed him. There he is, happy guy with his dog. So check out the services that are offered through Play Center and AstroVed, and that is going to be such a blessing for you. And then before the big day where we can honor Kalabhairava, which is going to be the 22nd, we'll have a Saturday call where we'll do some empowerments and we'll do something special for you to connect with him, as in a ritual. But I'm leaving that as a surprise. So Mother's Day is coming up. Please, please, please go to AstroVed Play Center and check out the services that are available for bringing the goddess energy into honor your mom. So do that. Honor your mom, because without your mom's blessings, as they say, there's a saying in India that blessings of the mother are greater than God and Guru. What? So it's pretty high. Why? Because she birthed you into this world. Whether you had a good relationship or not, welcome to your karma. And just as someone mentioned here, I always thought, I think I have a great relationship with my mom, but then there was that little yuckiness that came. Yeah, it's coming from many lifetimes. So clean it up. Just participate, feed her soul. You don't even have to tell her. You can do it as a secret angel gift. And then you're really doing it for yourself anyways, right? Because you want everything to be beautiful with your mother. And again, doesn't matter what kind of relationship you had or have with your mother, it will be healed. Oh, 8 more new messages.
Suchrita?
Yes, hi.
Hi, it's Lolita.
Hi, Lolita, how are you?
Hi. On the mother thing, usually they have something for deceased mother. And when I was looking, there was nothing for deceased mother. So what would you do for your deceased mother?
Yeah, I saw that too, Jermaine, or Lolita, and I did ask about that, why they did not include it this year, because usually they do.
Yeah.
So what you can do instead is just go do a tarpanum. I think it's a one-time tarpanum. The one for a new moon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because usually there is one for deceased, right?
Yeah. And then for you, I wouldn't worry about it too much because you're working with Hanumandas, so you can just send in an email and ask for your mom's soul's prayers.
Okay, great. Okay, and then I just put a comment in there. Do you have any time we could speak today?
Yeah, how about after the call?
Okay, that'd be terrific. Thank you.
Nice manifestation there.
Yes, thank you.
I'm usually really busy, so you caught me. All right, so it's true about our evolutionary journey at the end of the day. It's okay to use my AstroVed account for coconut smashing for my fiance. Yes, if you have problems or issues going on with family members or fiance or whoever it is, if they are not open to any of these services, then it's better if you do it as a secret angel gift, because then the energy won't be conflicting, because you're talking to their soul. They're going to be a part of your life, or they are a part of your life, but they're not evolved as you are, and they may never be. But if you want to help them to get out of some obstacles, then definitely you can do it in honor of them. So general rule of thumb, do not force anyone to do what you're doing on your spiritual path. You don't even know what you're doing. You don't. You might think, oh my God, that's horrible to say. I'm out of control. Yeah, there you go, right? So there you go. You don't even know what you're doing. So I'm kidding. So you do know that this is resonating, this service is resonating with you. You're exploring, how can this help me, or how can it help someone else? You're going deeper, you're meditating on it. You're not freaking out. If you're freaking out, please do not do it. Because you want to be as calm as possible. If you're freaking out, it means you can't fit it in your budget. Or it's just not right for you. So don't do something that you're going against. It's like swimming upstream. Why struggle? There will be something that comes and it will be the perfect thing for you. And then trust, you're in alignment with that. Yeah, you can have a big question mark, but a big question mark can be, oh my God, I wonder what's going to happen. That's a different question mark than, oh my God, this is, right? They're two different experiences to have. So we want, as we're evolving, we want to be calmer and we want to be more in wonder and just knowingness that this is it. This is the right thing for me to do. Yeah, I'm in alignment with it. I feel natural. Yeah, it's going to be going down some rapids and maybe even a waterfall, but woohoo, I'm in my raft and here we go, right? Don't get in the raft if you don't like the ride, right? And don't go upstream with it. Oh my God. So do something. If you're going to do it for your family members, you zip it and it is a gift. Keep it as that. Yeah, so work problems, if he's having work problems, then you leave the prayer, you put the prayer into the divine. This is for him. He's going to have roadblocks. I don't want any karma. You just give it to his soul. I can do this. Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah, you can put a second name other than yours on your AstroVed account. A little box comes up when we order service. Yes, Yasmin is saying that for someone. So someone is saying iPhone. What I plan to do after he agrees, gives consent. If you feel like he's not going to give consent, then you want to do this for his soul, then you don't ask. You do it for his soul, you do it wholeheartedly, and you don't tell him. There's so many people, including myself, who do things for others. And I trust that the divine is going to be doing it for them, and I am releasing. I'm detaching myself from it. And that's all I can do. I don't worry if it worked or didn't work, right? Because that's what is calling me to do it. If I ask the person, hey, would you like me to do coconut smashing? And they go, you are insane. And, do whatever you want. They're going to put negativity into it because they don't understand it. Okay. So if you want to create karma and you already know they're not going to be receiving it, or they don't understand what the heck you're doing, why are you putting that in the mix? Does that make sense? I don't want to discourage people from doing it, and you can do whatever you want to do. However, just giving you a little bit of guideline. So Shweta's saying, I'm confused. I thought we didn't want to interfere with your karma. Here's the thing. You can do it at the level of the soul, not at the karmic level. The karmic level is what's going on in their head every day. They're thinking, they're doing their actions. You're not taking them by the hand and saying, you do this now, you do that now, you think this now, you think that now. You're giving them food for their soul. There is no karma incurred in that. Because you're doing it in their name, not in your name. It's in their name. I want to do it for this person. And then that's done. The divine is doing it. Does that make sense to you, Shweta? Yeah, so iPhone is saying I'm confused. If you're confused when it's okay and not okay, then don't do it. You're confused. Do it when you're clear. That's what I can share. Yeah. Okay, good. Because down the road, you might be more clear. So if you're confused now, then it's not the right time. So down the road, keep praying about it, keep meditating on it. At the level of the soul, you're affecting them. It's not about how you're interacting with them on an everyday basis. Oh, I wish you would do this. I wish you would that. Can't you do this? Can't you do that? Blah, 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 karma, karma, right? Yeah. So level of the soul. And you don't say, hey, I just did something for your soul. Good luck with that. Yeah, Yasmin says maybe you'll pay off a karmic debt doing all these things. That's what it exactly is. If you're compelled to do something for another human being, it's because you have to look at your soul, to that person's soul. Don't look at it as, oh, now I'm going to control that person. If you do, welcome to some more karma. Don't do it. Okay, I finally answered the question fully. Great, great, great. And Yasmin, that's good. That's what we're here to do in Power Time, is to help one another. So navigate Ply Center and AstroVed with greater wisdom, greater intelligence, greater ease. And no question is a silly question. The question is because the consciousness is there and you're actually giving us all a gift. So God bless you for asking these questions and sharing your experiences. So maybe we should wrap up for today, and because looks like the chat has stopped and nobody is jumping in. So enjoy this week ahead with the blessings of Lord Muruga all day today. You might feel energized to do some spring cleaning. It's a great time to do it. It's on the waning cycle of the moon. So these next several days until the full moon comes again, until the new moon comes, can get rid of stuff. You can release everything, right? Go to your closet, go to your garden. Just start it. Doesn't mean you have to complete it because you never will. It's always an ongoing thing. So just start to toss out or get digging, get going, take action, be physical. Mars is also wanting you to be physical. Take some physical, get some physical exercise, dig in there, right? If you don't have a garden, then go dig in your closets, dig in your car, dig in your, get rid of that junk and get yourself into a gym or outside. That's physical as well. Exercise. Mars is all about get going. Why are you wasting time? Okay. And then Kalabhairava, get into him on the 8th waning moon. And then look ahead to Dr. Ply's birth star this week. Those are power times. And then everything else that's going on. I think we have a Panchamukha Hanuman rare celebration service that is offered, but that's down the road, maybe in the 3rd week of May. We'll talk about it next week. So if we don't see you in some program this week, then, and maybe not in the weekend because it's Mother's Day weekend, then have a happy Mother's Day, everyone, next weekend. If you're going to be here on Saturday, then we'll really get empowered to have a great connection with our mom, whether she has gone to other realms or whether she's here on the earth plane. So we'll see you next Power Time practice. And thanks to everybody. Thanks to Yagna. Thanks to Radha for being the support team and everyone else who is supporting us through Ply Center and AstroVed. God bless. God bless Dr. Ply for supporting us as we move forward in this week ahead. Namaste.
வாசலுக்கு சொல்லுங்க. நவோ நவோ பவதி ஜாயமானः அன்னாம் கேதுः உஷசாமேதி அக்ரே பாகம் தேவேभ्यः விததாதி ஆயன் பிர சந்திரமாः திரதி தீர்க்கமாயுः. இன்றைய எனது குமாரத்தி சௌபாகியவதி தேவசேனாவை தங்களது குமாரன் பாலசுப்பிரமணியருக்கு கன்னிகா பிரதானம் செய்து தருகிறேன். தாங்கள் மாங்கல்ய தாரணம் லோகக்ஷேமத்திற்காக உத்தரோத்தரம் ஸ்ரேயஸாக இருக்கத்தக்கது. தாம்பாளத்தை விட்டு கொடுங்க. நடுவில் 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 ॐ ध्रुवन्ते राजा वरुणो ध्रुवं देवो बृहस्पतिः ध्रुवन्तजिन्द्रश्चाग्निश्च राष्ट्रं धारयतां ध्रुवं पर्वत इवाविचाचलिः इन्द्र इवेह ध्रुवस्तिष्ठा इह राष्ट्रमुधारय अभितिष्ठवृतन्यतः अधरे सन्तु शत्रवः इन्द्र इव वृत्रः तिष्ठा सुमुहूर्तोऽस्तु सुप्रतिष्ठितमस्तु देवीं वाचमजनयन्त देवाः तां विश्वरूपाः पशवो वन्ति सा नो मन्द्रेशवोर्जन्दुहाना धेनुर्वागस्मानुपसुष्टुतैतो सुमुहूर्तोऽस्तु सुप्रतिष्ठितमस्तु ॐ अच्युताय नमः ॐ अनन्ताय नमः ॐ गोविन्दाय नमः शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये ॐ ममोपात्त समस्त दुर्दक्षद्वारा श्री परमेश्वर परमेश्वरी प्रीत्यर्थं तदेव लग्नं सुदिनं तदेव ताराबलं चंद्रबलं तदेव विद्याबलं दैवबलं तदेव लक्ष्मीपतेते अंघ्रियुगं स्मरामि करिष्यमाणस्य कर्मणः निर्विघ्नेन परिसमाप्त्यर्थम् आदौ विघ्नेश्वर पूजां करिष्ये आदौ विघ्नेश्वर पूजां करिष्ये अपवुपस्पृश्य ओं गणानान्त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पदान शृण्वन्नोतिभिस्तेजसादनं भूर्भुवस्वरो अस्मिन् हरिद्राबिम्बे सुमुखं महागणपतिं ध्यायामि महागणपतिम् आवाहयामि महागणपतये नमः आसनार्थं रत्नसिंहासनं समर्पयामि पादयोः पाद्यं समर्पयामि अर्घ्यं समर्पयामि आचमनीयं समर्पयामि स्नानं समर्पयामि आचमनीयं समर्पयामि महागणपतये नमः वस्त्रोत्तरीयं समर्पयामि महागणपतये नमः उपवीताभरणार्थे पुष्पाणि समर्पयामि दिव्यपरिमलसुगन्धगन्धान् धारयामि हरिद्रामङ्गलकुङ्कुमं समर्पयामि अक्षतान् समर्पयामि पुष्पमालां समर्पयामि पुष्पैः पूजयामि ॐ सुमुखाय नमः ॐ एकदन्ताय नमः ॐ कपिलाय नमः गजकर्णकाय नमः ॐ लम्बोदराय नमः ॐ विकटाय नमः ॐ विघ्नराजाय नमः ॐ विनायकाय नमः ॐ धूमकेतवे नमः ॐ गणाध्यक्षाय नमः ॐ फालचन्द्राय नमः ॐ गजाननाय नमः ॐ वक्रतुण्डाय नमः ॐ शूर्पकर्णाय नमः ॐ हेरम्बाय नमः ॐ स्कन्दपूर्वजाय नमः सिद्धिमहागणपतये नमः नानाविधपरिमलपत्रपुष्पाणि समर्पयामि धूपदीपार्थं पुष्पाणि समर्पयामि भोर्भवस्तुवः महागणपतये नमः भूर्भुवस्सुवः महागणपतये नमः कदलीफलताम्बूलं निवेदयामि आचमनीयं समर्पयामि समस्तोपचारान् समर्पयामि वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सुमुखश्चैकदन्तश्च कपिलो गजकर्णकः लम्बोदरश्च विकटो विघ्नराजो विनायकः धूमकेतुर्गणाध्यक्षः पालचन्द्रो गजाननः वक्रतुण्डशोर्पकर्णो हेरम्बस्कन्दपूर्वजः कलासङ्ख्यानि नामानि यः पठेत् शृणुयादपि विद्यारम्भे विवाहे च प्रवेशे निर्गमे तथा सङ्ग्रामे सर्वकार्येषु विघ्नस्तस्य न जायते महागणपतये नमः प्रार्थनाः समर्पयामि शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये ॐ भूः ममोपात्त समस्त दुरितक्षयद्वारा श्री परमेश्वर प्रीत्यर्थं शुभे दिने शोभने मुहूर्ते अद्य ब्रह्मणः द्वितीयपरार्धे श्वेतवराहकल्पे वैवस्वतमन्वन्तरे अष्टाविंशतितमे कलियुगे प्रथमे पादे जम्बूद्वीपे भारतवर्षे परदखण्डे मेरोः दक्षिणे पार्श्वे शकाब्दे अस्मिन् वर्तमाने व्यावहारिके प्रभवादीनां षष्टिसंवत्सराणां मध्ये दुर्मुखनाम संवत्सरे दक्षिणायने शरदृतौ तुलामासे शुक्लपक्षे अद्य सप्तम्यां शुभतिथौ वासरः वासरस्तो भानुवासर युक्तायाम् उत्तराषाढनक्षत्र युक्तायां शुभनक्षत्र शुभयोग शुभकरण एवं गुण सकल विशेषेण विशिष्टायाम् अस्यां वर्तमानायां मंगल सप्तम्यां शुभतिथौ इदमानयोः संकल्पित महाजनयो करिष्यमान संकल्पित महाजनयोः सर्वेषां सह कुटुंबानां क्षेमस्थैर्य धैर्य शौर्य वीर्यविजय आयुरारोग्य ऐश्वर्याणाम् अभिवृद्ध्यर्थं विशेषतः
Anuradha Neeta Patel, Anuradha Brenda O'Connor, Asilesha Phoebe Bernard, Asilesha Wilsey Kamala Kumar, Bharani Suchitra Arlen Moore, Chitra Larkin Baylis Little, Hasta Emmeline Nendroff, Janma Nakshatra Nancy Walworth, Jeshta Prashant Pujari, Jeshta Nilesh Bula, Jeshta Yogendra Vasupal, Kritika Patricia Dennis, Maha Robert Joseph Bernhard, Mirigasira S.K. Cheong, Moola Maulik Bharat Bhatt, Moola Nirmal Sharma, Moola Nakshatram, Mohammad Riaz Noori, Moola Nakshatram, Rudy Parry, Purva Shada, Michael Machad, Purva Bhadrapada, Maria Antoinette, Pushya, Cassidy Rana, Rohini, Christine Kranz, Sadabisha, Ahili Shion Kador, Shravana, Elizabeth Levy Kidd, Shravana, Sunita Arora, Uttarashada, Amen Dillon, Uttarashada, Linda Levy, Uttarashada, Bhavesh R.J. Pandaya, Uttarashada, Soni Chia, Uttarabhadrapada, Barbara Levy, Uttarabhadrapada, James Levy, Uttarabhadrapada, Avin Ramnarayan, Uttarabhadrapada, Lori Grassing, Uttarafalguni, Judy Jones, Vishaka, Hannah Nienroff, Vishaka, Mark Henry, Purvabhadrapada, Dattatreya Shivababa, Sadabisha, Rohan Harith, Vishaka, Habib Hussain bin Muhammad Yusuf, Punarvasu, Presley Augusta Teresa, Aradra Mohini, Elaine Cooper, Purvabhadrapada Marina Hanim Binte Habib Hussain,
इदमानयोः सह कुटुम्बयोः सर्वेषां क्षेमस्थैर्य धैर्य शौर्य वीर्य विजय आयुरारोग्य ऐश्वर्याणाम् अभिवृद्ध्यर्थं धर्मार्थ काममोक्ष चतुर्विध फलपुरुषार्थसिद्ध्यर्थं लोकक्षेमाभिवृद्ध्यर्थं वापीकूप नदी तटाकादिषु जलसमृद्ध्यर्थं सर्वेषां हितदृष्टि अहितदृष्टि परदृष्टि सर्वदृष्टिबाधा शत्रुबाधा शरीरबाधा निवृत्त्यर्थं जीवन मार्गे उन्नत स्थान उन्नत कीर्ति उन्नत लाभाभिवृद्ध्यर्थं सर्व दारिद्र्य सर्व कष्ट सर्व ऋण दोष निवृत्त्यर्थं वल्ली देवसेना समेत बालसुब्रह्मण्य प्रसाद सिद्ध्यर्थं बालसुब्रह्मण्य प्रसादेन संकल्पित महाजनयोः सर्वेषां निरोग शतायुः संपूर्णता सिद्ध्यर्थं अविवाहकानां विवाह मंगल कार्य प्राप्ति सिद्ध्यर्थं अपुत्राणाम् अतिशीघ्रमेव अनेक बहुसुपुत्रावाप्त्यर्थं मेधावीनां सर्वेषां विद्या विषये सकल विद्यापारंगतत्व सिद्ध्यर्थं सकलविध सौजन्य सौलभ्य सौमुख्य सौहार्द सौश्रिय सौशील्य संतोष सौख्य सुखलाभ सिद्ध्यर्थं सर्वेषां मनश्चिन्तित सकल कार्येषु विजयत्वलाभ सिद्ध्यर्थं देवसेना बालसुब्रह्मण्य विवाहाराधन मंगल कर्म करिष्ये देवसेना बालसुब्रह्मण्य विवाहाराधन कर्म करिष्ये विवाह कर्मांगम अंगुरार्पण कर्म करिष्ये पंचपालिका शुद्ध्यर्थं शुद्ध्यर्थ स्वस्ति पुण्याह वाचनं करिष्ये बालसुब्रह्मण्य सुब्रह्मण्यस्य मूलमन्त्र जपहोमाख्यकर्म करिष्ये विवाहकर्माङ्गं स्वामिनः रक्षाबन्धनं कर्म करिष्ये प्रतिसरबन्ध च कर्म करिष्ये अपमुपस्पृश्य ॐ गणानाहं त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणस्पदान शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् अस्मात् हरिद्राबिम्बात् सम्पूजितं गणपतिं यथास्थानं प्रतिष्ठापयामि शोभनार्थे क्षेमाय पुनरागमनाय च हिरण्यगर्भगर्भस्थं हेमबीजं विभावसोः अनन्तपुण्यफलदम् अतः शान्तिं प्रेच्छ मे करिष्यमान देवसेना समेत बालसुब्रह्मण्यविवाहाराधनमुहूर्तलग्नासाद्गुण्यार्थं यथाशक्ति इदं हिरण्यं नवग्रहदेवता प्रीतिं ब्राह्मणेभ्यः सम्प्रदधे ओं तत्सत् ब्रह्मजज्ञानं प्रथमं पुरस्ताद्विधीमतसुरुचो वेनावः सबुधयोपमास्य विष्ठा सदश्चयोन्मदश्च विवः नाके सुपर्णमुपयत्पदन्तकं हृतावेनं तोभ्यदक्षदत्वा हिरण्यपक्षं वरुणस्दोदयमस्जोनोषगणं भरञ्जम् आप्याय सतमेतते विश्वदस्त्वामवृष्टियं भवावाजसदं कथे यो रुद्रो अग्नौ यो अप्सयवोषधीष यो रुद्रो विश्वाभुवना विवेश तस्मै रुद्राय नमोऽस्तु इदं विष्णुर्विचक्रमे त्रेधा निदधे पदं समूढमस्य भागं सुरे इन्द्रं विश्वावीवृधान् समुद्रव्यजसङ्गिनः तथीदमगं रथीनां वादानागं सत्पतिं पतिं भवस्तवः आपो वा इदगं सर्वं विश्वाभूतान्यापः प्राणा वा आपः पशापो नमापो प्रथमापः सम्राडापो स्वराडापश्चन्दागस्यापो ज्योतिगस्यापो योगस्यापः सत्यमापः सर्वा देवता आपो भोर्भवस्तवराप ॐ अपः प्रणयति श्रद्धा वा आपः श्रद्धामेवारभ्य प्रणीय प्रचलति यज्ञो वा आपः यज्ञमेवारभ्य प्रणीय प्रचलति वज्रमेव भ्रातृव्येभ्यः प्रहृत्य प्रणीय प्रचलति वः प्रणयति आपो वै रक्षोघ्नीः रक्तदापवहति वः प्रणयति आपो वै देवानां प्रियं धाम देवानामेव प्रियं धाम प्रणीय प्रचलति वः प्रणयति आपो वै सर्वा देवताः देवता एवारभ्यः प्रणीय प्रचलति वः प्रणयति आपो वै शान्ताः शान्ताभिदेवाशिशुं शमयति देवो वस्विदोत्तुनादो अच्छिद्रेण पवित्रेण वसोस्तोजस्रश्मिभिः स हिरत्नानुदासुषे सुवासुविदाभकः तं भागं चित्रमीमहे कूर्चाग्रैराकृशान् घोरान् सन्धिकर्मविघातिनः स्वामर्पयामि कुम्भेऽस्मिन् साफल्यं गुरुकर्मणि वृक्षराजसमद्धोता शाखाजाः फलसुजः पुनत्वजे नारिकेलसमद्धोदत्रनेत्र हरसंविदा शिखया दुरितं सर्वं पापं सर्वे समुद्रा सलिलस्तीर्था जनदाहृदाः आयान्युदेव पूजार्थं दुरिजक्षेकारकाः इमं मे वर्णशुरीह मध्याचमृडया तामवस्युरातके तत्त्वायामि ब्रह्मणा वन्दमानस्तदाशास्तेदमानो हविर्भिः एडमानो वरुणेः बोधिरषगं समानाय प्रमोषीः अस्मिन् कुम्भे सकलतीर्थाधिपतिं श्रीवरुणं ध्यायामि श्रीवरुणम् आवाहयामि वरुणस्य इदमा सोमादिभ्यः नमो नमः आसनादि समस्तोपचारान् समर्पयामि दिशां पतीन् नमस्यामि सर्वकाम फलप्रदान् कुर्वन्तो सफलं कर्म कुर्वन्तो सततं शुभम् या जाता वोषधयो देवेभ्यस्त्रियुगं पुरा मन्दामि बभ्रूणा महागुं शतं धामानि सप्त च शतं नो अम्बत्तानि सहस्रमुतवोर्वः अथा शतक्रत्वो जोयमिमं मे गदक्ता पुष्टावते प्रसोवते फलिनीरफलावुता अष्टवः ओषधिरिमातरस्तद्वो देवीर्बभ्रुवे रवातीरधर्मश्चात्मानाः गोभा अहं वाद संग निष्कृतिर्नाम वो माता था जो जगस्तसंकृति सराः पदत्रिणी स्तनयदामयति निष्कृता अन्यावो अन्यामवत्वन्यान्यस्यापावता ताः सर्वावोषधे संविधाना इदं मे प्रावतावतः उच्छुष्मावोषधीनां गावो गोष्ठादिवेरते धनगुं सनिष्यन्ति नामात्मानन्तव पुरुषा अतिविश्वाः परिष्टास्तेन इव व्रतमुक्रमः ओषधयः प्राचित्य उर्यत्किञ्च तनुवागुं रपः तास्तादस्थुरात्मानं याविवशः परः परः तास्ते यक्ष्मं विबाधन्तामुग्रा मध्यम विना शावती कुंसामवती मूर्धयन्ति मुदोदिसं वित्ति सर्वावोषधीरस्मा अरिष्टतातये यावोषधे स्वापराग्ने प्रविष्टा पृथिवी मनो तमस्युत्तमा प्रणो जीवातये सुवा अवपतं दिवोषधयः परि यञ्जीवा गत्यता सर्वा अस्मभ्यं दत्तेदम् अहङ्खनामिवः ओषधयः संवदन्ते सोमेन सह यस्मै करोति ब्राह्मणस्तकं सतश्च योन्मसदश्च विवः पिता विराजामृषीनां संब्रह्मसन्तं ब्रह्मणा वर्धयं बीजावापः मघवन् जग्धितवतन्न भूतजे विश्वा विप्रथोजहि स्वस्तिदा विशस्पतिर्वृत् इन्द्रेभ्यो नमः अयं बीजावापः जगतः ध्वशी यमं भङ्ग्यश्रव यमादिभ्यो नमः इमं सुराजके तत्त्वायामि ब्रह्मणा वन्दमानो हविर्षकं समानाय नादिभ्यो नमः धेनुगुं सोमो अर्व भवावाजस्य संगे सोमादि ओम ओम भूर्भुवस्वरोम अस्मिन् कुम्भे अस्यां प्रतिमायां ध्याय समर्पयामि वर्धन उर्वारुकं बबन्धनान् मृत्यु त्र्यम्बकैरामहे मृत्योर्मुक्षामहे सुगन्धवर्धनम् उर्वारुकं बबन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृता हिरण्यगर्भगर्भस्तं हेम शांतिं प्रयच्छ मे करिष्यमान बालसुब्रह्मण्य देवसेना रक्षाबंधन मुहूर्त लग्न साद्गुण्यं यथाशक्ति इदं हिरण्यं नवग्रह देवता प्रीतिं ब्राह्मणेभ्यः संप्रददे ओम तत्सत् மாலை மாத்திரத்துக்கு வரையலா பிடிச்சுக்கோ ஒருத்தர் சாமி பிடிச்சுக்கோ போறோம் போறோம் पुरुषाय विद्महे महासेनाय धीमहि तन्नः षण्मुखः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा तत्पुरुषाय 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 विद्महे महासेनाय धीमहि तन्नः षण्मुखः प्रचोदयात् तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे महासेनाय धीमहि 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 तन्नः षण्मुखः प्रचोदयात् तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे महासेनाय धीमहि तन्नः षण्मुखः प्रचोदयात् तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे महासेनाय धीमहि तन्नः षण्मुखः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा तन्नः षण्मुखः प्रचोदयात् सुब्रह्मण्यस्वामिने दन्नमम देवसेनापतये दन्नमम एतत्कर्मसमृद्ध्यर्थं जयातिस्थाने मिन्दाहुतीन् होष्यामि ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः स्वाहा प्रजापतये दन्नमम कन्निकादानं ॐ सदाशिवगोत्रोद्भवस्य परमेश्वरवरब्रह्मणे त्रयाऋषेय प्रवरान्वित परमशिवगोत्रोद्भवाय परमशिवो नप्त्रे सदाशिवस्य पौत्राय परमेश्वरः पुत्राय श्रीबालसुब्रह्मण्यस्वामिने वराय काश्यप महादेव चतुर्मुख त्रयाऋषेय प्रवरान्वित काश्यपगोत्रोद्भवा चतुर्मुखपरब्रह्मणस्य नप्त्रीं काश्यपमहर्षिः पौत्रीं सुरलोकाधिपतिदेवेन्द्रस्य पुत्रीं इमां कन्यां सदाशिव परमेश्वर परब्रह्म त्रयाऋषेय प्रवरान्वित परमशिवगोत्रोद्भवाय परमशिवो नप्त्रे सदाशिवः पौत्राय परमेश्वरः पुत्राय श्रीबालसुब्रह्मण्यस्वामिने वराय देवसेना महादेव काश्यप चतुर्मुख त्रयाऋषेय प्रवरान्वित काश्यपगोत्रोद्भवा चतुर्मुखपरब्रह्मणस्य नप्त्रीं काश्यपमहर्षिः पौत्रीं सुरलोकाधिपतिदेवेन्द्रस्य पुत्रीं देवसेनानाम्नीम् इमां कन्यां सदाशिव परमेश्वर परब्रह्म त्रयाऋषेय प्रवरान्वित परमशिवगोत्रोद्भवाय परमशिवो नप्त्रे सदाशिवः पौत्राय परमेश्वरः पुत्राय श्रीबालसुब्रह्मण्यस्वामिने वराय देवसेना काश्यप महादेव चतुर्मुख त्रयाऋषेय प्रवरान्वित काश्यपगोत्रोद्भवां चतुर्मुखपरब्रह्मणस्य नप्त्रीं काश्यपमहर्षिः पौत्रीं सुरलोकाधिपतिदेवेन्द्रस्य पुत्रीं इमां कन्यां देवसेनानाम्नीं कन्यां कनकसम्पन्नां कनकाभरणैः युतां दास्यामि विष्णवे तुभ्यं ब्रह्मलोक जिगीषया विश्वम्भराः सर्वभूताः साक्षिण्यः सर्वदेवताः इमां कन्यां प्रदास्यामि पितॄणां तारणाय च कन्ये मे ममाग्रतः भूयाः कन्ये मे देवी पार्श्वयोः कन्ये मे सर्वतो भूयाः त्वद्दानात् मोक्षमाप्नुयां हिरण्यगर्भ गर्भस्थं हेमबीजं विभावसोः अनन्तपुण्यफलतम् अतः शान्तिं प्रयच्छ मे इमां कन्यां लोकसमस्तात् प्रजासम्पत्त्यर्थं वृणीमहे। विद्महे सर्वभवाय धीमहि तन्नः स्कन्दः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा कार्तिकेयाय विद्महे सर्वभवाय धीमहि तन्नः स्कन्दः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा कार्तिकेयाय विद्महे सर्वभवाय धीमहि तन्नः स्कन्दः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा कार्तिकेयाय विद्महे सर्वभवाय धीमहि तन्नः स्कन्दः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा सप्तदेक्षे समिधः सप्तजिह्वा सप्तर्षे सप्तधामप्रियाणि सप्तहोत्राः सप्तधात्वा इति सप्तयोनीनाभुन स्वाकृतेन स्वाहा अग्नजे सप्तपदे दन्नमम समर्पयामि सामरं लीलयामि समस्तराजोपचार देवोपचार भक्त्योपचार भगवदोपचार षोडशोपचार पूजाः समर्पयामि ॐ विहृष्वैः समानुतैः कालेन वित्तमा पन्नेः इन्द्राजाय सद्योजातं प्रपद्यामि सद्योजाताय नमो नमः भवे भवेनादि भवे भवस्तमा भवोद्भवाय नमः भारतब्रह्मण्यस्वामिने नमः देवसेनापतये नमः छत्रं समर्पयामि सामरं वामदेवाय नमो ज्येष्ठाय नमः श्रेष्ठाय नमो रुद्राय नमः कालाय नमः कलविकरणाय नमो बलविकरणाय नमो बलाय नमो बलप्रमथनाय नमः सर्वभूतदमनाय नमो मनोन्मनाय नमः वल्ली देवसेनासमेत भारतब्रह्मण्यस्वामिने नमः सामरं समर्पयामि तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे महासेनाय धीमहि तन्नः षण्मुखः प्रचोदयात् वल्ली देवसेनासमेत भारतब्रह्मण्यस्वामिने नमः सामरं समर्पयामि ईशानः सर्वविद्यानाम् ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानां ब्रह्माधिपतिर्ब्रह्मणाधिपतिः ब्रह्मा शिवो मेऽस्तु सदा शिवो अघोरेभ्यो घोरेभ्यो घोरघोरेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः सर्वसर्वेभ्यो नमस्ते सर्वरूपेभ्यः नमो हिरण्यराहवे हिरण्यवर्णाय हिरण्यरूपाय हिरण्यपतये अम्बिकापतये उमापतये वसुपतये नमो नमः श्रियमेवावरुन्धे शीते वाते पुनर्निवेद्याः क्षेमो मे राष्ट्रस्य शीतो वातः क्षेममेवावरुन्धे देवसेना समेत बालसुब्रह्मण्यप्रसादेन मनसीप्सितसकलकार्येषु विजयत्वलाभसिद्धिरस्तु। यो वेदाहं ब्रह्मणो वेद अमृतेन वृतामुरे तस्मै ब्रह्मण ब्रह्माच आयुष्कीर्तिं प्रजादधुः।
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this first of a two-part series that we will be doing on the topic of owning gods and goddesses. So some of you may be wondering what that means, how to do it yourself. And what we want to do is guide you through the process of learning some techniques that Dr. Pillai has taught over the years of connecting with gods and goddesses and being able to create your own very close divine relationship and having them come through into your life for profound results. We'll also be hearing from a few students who have had experiences like this so that we can get you some more juice on what this all means. Now, you probably already know that Dr. Pillai will be teaching this in his upcoming 12-month mystery school program. And that is another reason why we want to help you understand what this is, how it works, and more about the mystery school. So we'll be handling all those things today. Tips on how to connect with gods and goddesses, what it means to own gods and goddesses, experiences from some of the students, and information about mystery school. So now I'm going to turn it over to Sarah, who is going to begin with some of the questions for the panelists, but we're all gonna really be having a conversation. And so today, basically, it's myself, Jay Rada, Sarah, who you also know as Paru, and Meena, who's coming, who will be joining us from India. So each one of us have had the pleasure and honor of studying closely with Dr. Pillai to learn a little bit more, kind of the behind the scenes of what this means. And we want to share that with you today. And then next weekend, we'll be doing the same thing, but with a different group of people to have some additional experiences shared with you, some more insights and tips, because that's what we want to do. We want to set you up for the new year and have you feel empowered with your relationship with the divine. So Sarah, are you there?
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you to everyone for being here. And so, and thank you to Meena. She's joining us from India. She is here along with Jay Radha to answer some of these questions or start the discussion so that you all can ask us your questions as well. So as you have questions, you can type them in chat. We'll be answering them at the end, but go ahead, and we have some people monitoring chat if things come up while you hear the presentation, and we'll get back to them at the end. And so I really just wanted to start off with Meena's in India, Jay Radha's been there recently, and Dr. Pillai has been doing a lot of new teachings and really emphasized the role of working with the divine. And he phrased it in this way for Mystery School 3 of owning the gods and goddesses. And today we wanted to introduce that and kind of explore what that means. So I wanted to start with that and kind of throw that out to Jay Radha and Meena, like what that means to you, and kind of dive into personal experiences you've had working with Dr. Pillai that will, again, as Jay Radha said, kind of bring out the juiciness of what people can look forward to in Mystery School 3.
Great. I'd like to introduce Meena to get us started on that topic.
Okay, I'm sorry, my camera's not working for me today, so it's just my voice. And I would say with the gods and goddesses, it's been, before coming on here, I've just been thinking more about it and how rich life has become because the gods and goddesses have come alive. And how I was just going back to in the beginning when Dr. Pillai introduced them, and how there was such a distance and I didn't understand I couldn't connect to them. But as the time has come around, and with Dr. Pillai, because he has this direct relationship with these gods and goddesses, it's almost like he gives you a calling card, and he knows all of the technologies that gives you entrance to these gods and goddesses. And when they come into your life, when they open it up, I feel that it just becomes fast time, and there's an ecstasy that is always part of it. So I don't know if, that would be my overview, sort of umbrella description of the gods and goddesses.
Yeah, thank you, Meena. Yeah, so I was also contemplating prior to this webinar on, how to express this. And I feel the same way that in the beginning there wasn't so much of that connection. But I do recall when I was very young and going to church, I loved to talk to God. And that was one of the things that helped build this relationship from a very young age with the divine. So it doesn't have to be an array of gods and goddesses. It really is up to you in how you relate to the divine. Is it the Holy Spirit? Is it Jesus? Is it the Buddha? Is it, Lakshmi? Is it, who is it for you that you're going to create this relationship with? Because once you do, you begin to receive the messages from them and have them in your life in a way that becomes magical. I don't know how else to say that. The other thing I wanted to mention is the owning gods and goddesses. At first I was like, oh, that sounds like almost disrespectful to the gods and goddesses, like I own you. But then I was thinking more about it, and it's like, the real concept is to, well, for me anyway, how I've interpreted Dr. Pillai's presentation of that is owning the gods and goddesses that are in our being, in our life, owning that, and not just dismissing it as something that isn't real or can't happen or is for other people. It's it's owning the power that gods and goddesses live within us. And by activating them and speaking to them, chanting mantras to them, different techniques, we are activating their presence in a more powerful way. So that's my take on the question.
That's fantastic. And I think that both of those explanations kind of open up that phrase that he used for this program and why it's so important that it's going within. I know recently Dr. Ply talked about going on the inside, which he's talked about a lot, but really making that connection with the divine within, and that's going to be a primary focus of this course. So kind of just to build on that first question, as far as any kind of personal experience, like you've both been studying with Dr. Ply for a long time, you've had an opportunity to explore different gods and goddesses, and it's great that he sort of gives us this ability to work with so many, and for people to really find the gods and goddesses, the angels, the beings that they're called to work with. Do either of you have kind of a personal experience, maybe from the past few months, or something that just really strikes you as an experience to share of that feeling of owning the gods and goddesses, or that really connecting to them within you, that you'd be willing to share with our audience, just sort of an experience of what that feels like, and how you can use that in your life, like how it's been beneficial to you.
Right. I can speak to something that I really didn't expect to happen. I was in India with Dr. Pillai, and he was very much into this topic. So when people hear about it on videos and whatnot, it's because he's been processing usually a topic for a while and diving deep into it. And so that's the really cool thing about Mystery School, is that you go on the journey with Dr. Pillai as he is opening new channels of information for himself, from wisdom, from the divine beings, and from the universe. And so he was really into this process of owning the gods and goddesses. And something came over me to ask for a mantra to incorporate a particular divine being into my being. And immediately after I did that, I got very scared of what that could look like, and I backtracked real quick and was like, nah, that probably is not a really good idea. But the being, the channel, the person I was speaking to was like, oh no, you can't take that back, this is done. And I was like, oh no. So once I got that happened, and then I received the mantra, I started chanting the mantra. Or I only started chanting the mantra after receiving Dr. Ply's blessings for it, because I said, I'm really scared, I don't know what to do. And he said, okay, just wait. And then maybe a week or so later, he said, okay, start chanting the mantra. So I did, and then nothing was happening. Like, I didn't know really what to expect, but he kept bringing it up. He's like, you need to go to temples for this being. You need to be chanting all the time. You need to be listening to the chants as well as chanting it yourself. So he was giving guidance. And I know it was also his empowerment. Like, I don't feel like anything would have happened without that, to be perfectly honest. So, so fast forward, I don't know, maybe a month and a half, and I was like, nothing's happening, I just still feeling like, I don't know if this is ever gonna happen, but Dr. Ply kept bringing it up, and I was like, oh my gosh, what if it never happens, where the divine, this being comes through me, and I disappoint him, right? So all these things are going through my negative human mind. And then one day, in a group, it was actually during the Muruga trip, where there was all these people there. There was the divine channel who gave me the mantra was also there, and he called me. He's speaking in Tamil, and then all of a sudden I heard the name of the being that that I asked to have incorporated into me, and then I was like, uh-oh. So I didn't know what was going on, and then later this channel called me up to like come before him, and I got really scared. I was like, oh no, there's nothing happening. I don't have, like, it's just me in here. There's no nothing's going on. So I walked up to him, and he was like, no, go back. And I was like, oh, thank God, right? So then I went back, and I was just waiting, and then all of a sudden this energy started coming through my body, like an electrical force that I was, at first I was like, oh, I can control this. And I just, you know, kind of sitting back and trying to relax. And then I couldn't control it. There was this literal electricity going through my whole body. And this, I could feel this being, the being that I've been chanting to, the being that I've been praying to, become alive. And once that force became untamable, in the sense that now this energy was so present, the human in me couldn't resist it. And that's what I had prayed for, because I thought, I don't want to pretend. I want it to be so real that it's unquestionable to myself, and that this being is in my body, that this being is here, that this being is guiding. And that's what happened. There's this energy came through, and I was not able to have any connection to really controlling it, like I said. And a beautiful experience occurred, and the divine being was very much present. And then afterwards, I kind of, then I came out of it a bit and was able to get back into the body and integrate that energy. And ever since then, it's never been quite so intense, where it's been this kind of uprising, this quick and furious uprising of energy. But now when I do the chanting, and when the time is right, I guess, when the divine being wants to come, he will, and then I'll get a message, or I'll get I'll get an experience. And this has been incredible. I never thought that this, that this would happen to me. I never thought that that this was possible. But in my opinion, it really is only possible because of the experience with Dr. Ply, because of having a master empower and allow and guide this process. And this is what we get in mystery school, because mystery school is a small number of people. He knows, he looks at people's names. He knows how many people are in the program. He brings to life the energy of mystery school in a way that you don't get in other programs. And this is the closest thing you can get to being guided by him in this, in a personal way. And when I say personal, I don't mean he's going to call you up on the phone. I mean, he's going to call you up on your soul and activate something in you. So that's my experience that I want to share, and how profound it is, because I know that Dr. Ply's energy and power was behind the entire process, and that's what we get in mystery school.
Amazing, and thank you for being willing to share that with all of us. And I know, Mina, you have a lot of experiences too. You work with a lot of beings, and
oh, goosebumps. I've got goosebumps. That's, the body doesn't lie. You're getting a little touch of the divine coming in. You're feeling that at that moment you are feeling a divine force. Mm-hmm. And what Jay Radha's experience was just showing how much more it can be. So it's the difference between a little misty rain and getting into the ocean. And that's the beauty of it. It's there. And the other thing I wanted to share, my experiences have been a little bit more messages coming in, and very practical. Like, I went to these Vishnu temples, and right after, it became very clear about how to do an investment. And then the other thing that happened was, recently I was walking around one of the gods, Karpaswamy, and the voice was super clear. It said, do this and this and this. I mean, it was very instructive as to what to do with some pension money that I had. And it's been really good advice. So those things can come, they're very practical too. It can be this amazing, wonderful, ecstatic feeling, and it can also be very grounded, looking out for your day-to-day life. And another thing that personal experience was the goddess, when I was selling my house, and the goddess got into everybody. making it happen. It was I saw the realtor. She's coming one day. She just shows up and changed the curb appeal of my house. I mean, actually cut down a tree that when it was cut down, I realized that it had bad energy. It wasn't good, and planted a bunch of big flowers all around the house, and it just looked it was beautiful. But I could see the energy of the goddess getting through everyone. So they can be working for you, going through other people too. And then I work with two people who are extraordinary channels, extraordinary. I mean, the God comes through them, and they are able to, because of that facility, that ability, there's a direct blessing. And people, and it happens over and over and over again, that people who were stuck, things were not happening for them, it all changes overnight just by that encounter. So that's what I've seen and experienced directly.
Well, it's great when you said about getting goosebumps. I definitely felt that with both of you. Like when Jay Rada started talking, I was like, oh my God, I can feel that, or not what she felt, but like there's a sense of energy that it feels so real when you're speaking about the experience. And I think it's amazing to hear your stories, because I know that this is what Dr. Ply wants more and more people to have, these experiences in their own version of these experiences with different divine beings. And he's mentioned that several times as he introduced this upcoming course, and that he wants people to be doing miracles and to work with the divine. And I wanted to ask you both, because I think you kind of hit upon this anyway, but there's this sort of really deep spiritual connection to the gods and goddesses that you're talking about, but also this practical side of there's a way to receive guidance for things that seem more practical to us in life, like what to do with a person or an investment or something. And how do you see it as important for people, like that this technique and learning how to own the gods and goddesses, as he said, and that empowerment you talk of, that Dr. Ply, like he's gonna bring this to people in mystery school, and how you see that impacting sort of the spiritual and material, because he's always talking about us having that 200% life and making sure we have, the material things we need as well as the spiritual experience. But I feel like you both already kind of hit upon that, but just maybe a little bit more about for people to know how it would help them both spiritually and materially, and doing it right now. The energy of 2019 is really supportive of this work with Dr. Ply. So anything you have to say about kind of that balance of spiritual and practical reasons to work with them that way?
Yeah, I think it's very practical. Not just having a particular experience necessarily, which is what he wants us to do, but when he says to create miracles in your life, and he references the Holy Spirit and how Jesus said, I want you to have create miracles. I want you to do more. What is a miracle? I mean, healing somebody. Like Mina said, making the right investment choice is a very practical way to have your activated divine self be more in the forefront. Now, if we're operating from our brains that are wired for fear and doubt, then we're creating that in our life. But when we're rewiring our brain through these mantras and the techniques, then the light comes through more. And that's a very practical thing. The light coming through more means we make better decisions, means we make choices that facilitate our growth, that facilitate our prosperity, that facilitate better relationships. So to me, that's what's practical, right? So we're either operating from our fear and doubt based brain that's been created, it has to keep us alive, or we're operating from the divine place where we're reworking our brain to be logged in to the activation of this light, to be then making decisions from that place. And that's really, really important. Just you know, again, thinking about this webinar, I had an experience where I was getting worried. I was like, oh my gosh, this is not going to go well. And then just something clicked, literally a voice in my head was like, no, it's going to be fine. Like, so, and that wasn't me. Like, that wasn't my brain. That was the divine creating that message to come forth. And as soon as I heard that message, I was like, right, it's time to relax and let, you know, and let this occur. So for me, those are the practical part is so important because it makes our difference in our everyday life.
Yes, I hear you describing that, J. Radha, the practical side. It makes me think about when I was in karate, right? I used to go to the dojo, and part of this is really about refining your thinking so that you do allow you're more aligned and attuned to the divine. So that when those anxieties come through that want to stop the good energy and the good things from happening, there's it's almost like you're tuning your body just like you would in the dojo. After a while, you just naturally have self-defense. Just as with this, you naturally accept and align yourself to the gods and goddesses, and that divine energy is within. And that changes the outcome of everything. The attraction becomes so strong, people can't stay away because they love that. Everybody loves that higher vibration. That high frequency is very attractive, and it draws opportunities. It draws the right people. It draws a higher frequency into your life because you are vibrating with that higher frequency because you brought that power right into your being. So that's how I would say, on a very practical level, it affects everything. It affects all of your relationships. And it also, if there's negative relationships in the life, those don't sustain. It just keeps going up higher and higher.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, fantastic. And do either of you have, I'm just thinking of people wanting to explore this with Dr. Pye and thinking about the year ahead in 2019 and just kind of it's prime time for this and to be part of this with Dr. Pye. And you were both just recently in India with him and sort of experienced, as J. Radha, you said, it's like being in real time with him as he's processing these things and refining them and then sharing them. And that's what we get in mystery school. Do you feel like, I'm just trying to tell people like why now is the time to do this and to, again, you both have studied with him a long time and you're having these really profound experiences with the divine beings. Is there any way to kind of share that with our audience of like, now is the time, like your life is worth it in 2019 and we never know if Dr. Pye is going to do these again, but like just based on these last few months and these deep experiences, like why people would want to join now.
Mm-hmm. Well, if not now, when, right? It'll never happen until you make a commitment. So that's what this program is about. That's what it's been about for me. And I understand, I also get, you know, it's a financial commitment. And what happens when we put ourselves into, you know, a situation where maybe we're a little outside of our comfort zone, we're actually committing, right? So is it, you know, the cost of getting a trainer, so because you're going to get results because of that? Is it getting a mentor, putting yourself into a mastermind, things that cost money but have proven results? That's how I see studying with a master. And it's not just the teachings that you receive, it is the connection with him that his focus on this group is quite intense. And he's, you know, he mentioned it in one of the videos, I've been trying to retire for so long, but the divine keeps telling him to keep doing this. And this is the only program that he personally gives new teachings every month. or, I believe that's what the commitment is this year. In other programs, he'll do a program and it'll become, it'll be something that's self-guided or taught by students who are Pillai Center teachers. But this is the only program where Dr. Pillai commits for a full year to give you new teachings based on his journey. And it is always new, right? So it's always new because it's what he's going through. It's what his process is. So now is really all there is in Dr. Pillai's world, literally. If you even heard of us, canceling a program, it's because he's in the now and something shifted and he knew, and he had the divine guidance to do something else versus what he had said he would do, a month or so ago. He's always in the now and he's bringing us into that. That's what he wants. So there is nothing but now, right? Is 2019 your year? Is this the commitment you want to make to your spiritual practice? And as we know, spiritual is not just spiritual, it's material. Matter comes from the spirit. Spirit creates matter. So the more we focus on our spiritual progress, the more our outer life should get better. And that's Dr. Pillai's teachings of the 200% life. If your outer life is not getting better, then either that's not a priority for you, or there's something that's not aligned in your spiritual practice. And this is what Dr. Pillai wants for people. It's also why one of the modules in Mystery School, he was going to be focusing on the material comforts, prosperity. He'll also be, I believe, focusing on health and wellness and karma removal, deep karma removal. So owning gods and goddesses isn't the only topic he'll be covering throughout this whole year, but it is definitely the only program that he gets fully immersed in and fully involved in himself. So I hope that helps. There's just literally no time like the present, and we do never know what's going to happen. Dr. Pillai wasn't going to be on the birthday trip. Now he is going to be on the birthday trip. Will he be on it next year? Who knows? Probably not, honestly, because he is continuing to scale back on his personal involvement in certain activities, because he's going deeper within. He's doing more internal meditation so that he can give more to us in the outer.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Really great answer. I would just add just a small thing, that over the years, what I've found is that if something, and you did touch upon this, Beirada, that when I would never miss when the thing that he's focused on, I would not miss that ever, because that time goes by and it's not available after that. So this period where he's opening these gods and goddesses, as you were saying, you don't know what next year will bring. And this is the time, so it's going to be more powerful when it's in the now, and it's in the time period when he's completely engaged with it. That's why I would say now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you both for that inspiration and kind of opening this for people to feel a little bit more of what is possible with working with Dr. Pillai in this way. And I know, Jayrada, you had some like a practice you wanted to share, or some instruction to help people so that they can start even today to begin working with these gods and goddesses that are inside and taking advantage of this information as of right now.
Sure, great, thanks. And then we'll get to some questions. I see there are definitely questions in the chat. So starting your relationship right now. So we're saying 2019 is the time, right now is the time. So what do you have to do? The first thing to do is to remember God. When you remember God, God remembers you. When you're mindful of God, you have God in your life. So, and there's some questions about, can it be, which God? Can it be Christ? It can be anything that you connect with. There is no rule here. It is you have a natural inclination usually to a particular divine being, whether that's Jesus, the Holy Spirit, a Greek God, a Hindu God, an Egyptian God. Whoever that is for you is who you will identify with. It is who you'll pull into your life. So how do you pull someone into your life? A human. How do you pull them into life? You get to know them. You learn their name. What is their name? Their mantra, right? Literally, sometimes, literally also the name of the being is the mantra. And you can you could repeat that. But if there's another particular mantra that goes along with that divine being, then that is useful as well. So you learn who they are, their qualities, right? So how do you know if you want to be friends with somebody? Well, what is that person like? What do they like to do? What do they focus on, right? If you are not a sci-fi fan and there's this person who is just all about sci-fi, would you go and befriend them? Maybe not, because you don't have interests aligned, right? So you find the divine being who aligns with your interests. Christ, compassion, love. Ganesha, removing obstacles, creating miracles. Lakshmi, prosperity, beauty, joy. Now they all sound really good, right? But you'll know in your heart which one resonates more with you. And it doesn't mean you can't pick more than one, you can. But for the purposes of this conversation, which divine being resonates most with you? Or maybe it's Dr. Pillai or another living or ascended master. Connecting with your guru or your teacher is also extremely powerful and potent. So first, you find out which one you want to be friends with, right? Then you find out more about them. You read stories. Why do people read the Bible? To get closer to Christ, to get closer to God. Read stories about them. Dr. Pillai calls it mythotherapy. When you are incorporating the stories of that divine being into your subconscious, you're learning about them. And those stories have many meanings, a lot of symbolism, and remember them. So those are three things. You want to know their name. It may seem very obvious, but it's very important. One of the principles in how to make friends and influence people, right? Remember people's names. Remember your divine being's name and call upon them. Call upon them all the time. When I was chanting that mantra, I was chanting that mantra as much as I possibly could to call upon this divine being, to have this being in my life, in my consciousness, to remember the divine being. So 1, learn the name of the divine being. 2, remember them and get to know them. And I'm sorry, that was all 3 of them. Get the first, know the name. Second is to remember them. And by remembering them, it can involve chanting their name. And the third aspect, the third key point here is to get to know them. So the mythotherapy, the stories, whether it's whoever you're connecting with. I hope that makes sense. Let's go to questions now. And Dumina and Sarah, do you have anything to add to those 3 key points?
Fall in love with them.
Yes. Yes.
No, I think that's great, all of those. And I do have one question for you. I think this might even be on chat. You mentioned so many of them, and there are so many. So if somebody, not to be people can also get a bit overwhelmed with all the gods and goddesses. So would you recommend people just start with one, or like if they're going to do it today, not to try and do all of them at once?
Yeah, I would recommend one. I like this. Miriam in the chat, she said, I look at Ganesha and my heart melts. Oh, then you know. Ganesha is your being, right? Someone has a good point. He said, Jesus is love, compassion, salvation, but no link to prosperity. Yeah, that's a good point. So you, like I said, you want to know your being. If prosperity is really important to you, then you may want to look into certain parts of the Bible that actually talk about prosperity. Jesus himself wasn't necessarily monetarily wealthy, but that doesn't mean there aren't some teachings that bring prosperity into this life, right? And so you want to incorporate that. You want to, if Jesus is your being who you're focusing on, then you also want to incorporate what that means to be inner and outerly wealthy, to be rich. Okay, so someone says, I want to be closer to them all. But yeah, I think it's important to pick one. And it could be like when I was a little girl in Catholic school, and I just, God was God. And God now to me is still the universal being that incorporates all gods and goddesses. So for that person who says, I want to be close to them all, maybe you have a universal connection to the divine that you speak to, and maybe it's not a particular identification. Maybe it is more of the universe speaking to you, and in which case all of them are incorporated. It's really a personal thing, folks. It's really what works for you. All right, so are we ready to go to some more questions then?
Yeah, and hopefully people know this on watching. Please type them in chat so we can see them. And if you have questions for any of us, but while Jairada and Mina are here to get their experiences, please type them so we can ask them.
Mm-hmm. So some people are asking about the program. The registration ends on January 31st, and the program starts on February 1st. So that is what Mystery School's timeline is, and then it goes for 12 months. Another person saying, it's very Hindu-oriented. Does Dr. Pillai connect with Christ? Absolutely. There's so many teachings on YouTube where Dr. Pillai was very much studying and connecting with Christ. And then one of the other guests on the chat said, I know Dr. Pillai is very appreciative of Jesus as the master boss. And yeah, he is. So he sees a lot of power and respect for Jesus. So absolutely. And we have programs as well that you can use.
Yeah. Speaking of Jesus Christ, Dr. Pillai shared recently that he was bringing somebody back to life. And he said he called on different gods and goddesses, and it was when he called on Jesus Christ that the life came back into this baby. So, yeah.
Great, thank you. Another guest is asking, can you help Christians to connect? I think we've been covering that. So I hope that all of that, what we've said so far, you understand it can be applied to Christ. Seems like Christ is a big topic today.
And also the Holy Spirit, I know you mentioned it and some people have brought it up. And I know from past programs, that's been a really big thing for certain people, especially if that's been a big part of your life. But Dr. Pillai has a lot of teachings on that, and it is available in the same way to connect you along with Jesus, if that's a big part of your experience and what you're looking for. I know that's a big thing for a lot of people.
Yes. There's several folks asking about Ganesha, and how Ganesha can fulfill our wishes. How long does it take to fulfill wishes if the mantra practice is daily as instructed in the Ganesha Consciousness Program? Again, it has to do with really the divine coming in and determining that. Kind of like my experience that I had with this other divine being where I was chanting the mantra and connecting, and at some point then it happened. So for you, there's no timeline. It's all personal. It has to do with your connection. If you're feeling love and respect and just that deep connection with that being, then I believe it'll happen. But we can't say when, right? So this is Jameer on the chat. How can connection with Ganesha or chant a Ganesha's mantra when you are linked to Jesus, Parvati, etc.? How can connect with, I think you're saying, how can you connect with Ganesha or chant Ganesha's mantra when you're linked to Jesus, Parvati, etc.? Again, going back to what we've already said, which is it depends on I don't know what you mean by linked, meaning maybe you already have a natural connection to them and you're trying to establish a new connection with a new being, then I would go back to the principles that we mentioned today, knowing who they are, getting to know them, remembering them, and falling in love with them. And if and when that happens for you with that particular divine being, then the experiences will unfold. And I don't know if Sarah, I mean, other experiences.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to add to that is I know in a lot of Christianity, they make it very exclusive, like you can only pray to Jesus. And that's where I think it gets conflicting or confusing, to think that there's other gods and goddesses that you can connect to. But I look at it like as you would have a group of friends. Just because you love one person doesn't mean you don't love that other person. It doesn't exclude your love. I mean, that your ability to connect to many different people is the same as your ability to connect to many gods and goddesses. It's unlimited, really.
Yeah. That's perfect. Thank you for sharing that. Someone's asking for experiences with Ganesha. Do either of you have experiences with Ganesha you'd like to share?
Mina, you can go ahead. I thought you were going to say
Ganesha. I love Ganesha. So what would be an experience? I usually pray to him before I start the day. I have a deck of cards, and I feel this very strong daily connection with him. He talks to me, and it's just couldn't be more clear. But he does it through these cards, because these cards are beautiful. They're all of these special paintings of Ganesha and different messages. So, but it was a love affair. I mean, that's how it started. I just started chanting his mantra, and then I started imagining how it must be breathing through the trunk. And pretty soon I started feeling his ears. I started feeling his trunk, and I just found I started connecting to him very personally and understanding what a beautiful, lovely, powerful being he is. And it just, pretty soon he became very real. And I mean, he comes in a second. I know one time had to be somewhere, and I was in Lincoln Tunnel traffic. I don't know if any of you have experienced that. I thought, oh my God, this is 2 hours. Nothing was moving. And I just started chanting his name. And the next thing, I'm on the other side of the Lincoln Tunnel, and it was 5 minutes later. And I thought, okay, he just changed time, and in that moment compressed it and got me out of it, and I was on time. So.
You and all the other people in the Lincoln Tunnel are very grateful.
I'll say one thing about Ganesha and Mystery School. Just being part of it for a few years, Ganesha is the one sort of divine being who always shows up in Mystery School. Often he'll kind of be part of the beginning of it and carry us through the whole thing. And I've had that with a lot of Dr. Ply's programs, where Ganesha is a very important player. And I've just seen profound connections through people who have taken these programs with him. And he shows up in all these ways. People have these great experiences. They have dreams and visions. And so I just feel like he's really close to everyone who is part of this. And I guess one quick personal experience is also kind of ties into the program. In the last, I guess I stopped recently, but there was a time at the end of 2018 where I got up every morning to do a Ganesha Homa, and it was hard every morning to get up out of bed early and go and do it, but it definitely changed a lot of things in my life. And it even just to be able to start the day by praying to Ganesha, no matter what else happened in the day, I had that, and it made a big difference. So I know he's impacted everybody's life probably on this call, And I have a feeling he'll be important in the upcoming program too.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. All right, are there any other questions? Otherwise, we're going to wrap up. Okay, I guess not. Any other questions about Mystery School?
And hopefully everyone knows there's a big button under chat you can click on to learn more about the program and to register. And it has more details about the program that you can learn about if you click there.
Yes, and just to reiterate the 4 components that I started to mention earlier. So there's karma removal, removing our preset ideas of what is and is not in our reality, and really reshaping that, and then merging with gods and angels. Then we have wealth as a main topic, health and relationships. So Dr. Pillai is covering really everything that we need to round out and make this a very powerful and significant year for us all.
And I just want to thank both of you for being here and your willingness to share your experiences on the topic of owning the gods and goddesses, because it's really helpful and inspiring to hear from both of you. And I hope it was helpful to people today, because and also to take what Jay Radha gave to go ahead and begin this connection today. All of those things were really helpful. So thank you both so much.
Oh, thank you for inviting us. It's my favorite topic.
Yeah,
nice to share. It's really nice to share.
Yes, thank you. I just want to make sure we've covered all of the questions. There was someone who asked a question earlier about giving initiations through Mystery School. So Dr. Pillai doesn't see us one-on-one in this program. However, when he does a teaching, it is an initiation into our spirit, into our being, in which we're able to go deeper and connect and have different experiences. I know my personal experience with Mystery School is way different than other programs, where at one time I was doing the meditation and I literally felt like his hand on my forehead as we began this. And I was doing it alone. I wasn't even with the group or, with Dr. Pillai. And so it was a very real experience of how deep he puts his energy into our experiences in this program. It's just different than other programs. And he's making a bigger investment in us, and it's a bigger investment on our part to give back to that. So the people who are asking about what the if this is an initiation, yes, it's initiations with Dr. Pillai. Is it one-on-one where you see him personally? No, it's not. But in this group, and because his energy is beyond space and time, we do receive this in a very significant way. So I hope that answers your questions as well. All right, so thank you all. Thank you, Sarah, for hosting us here. And folks will be connecting next week as well. So stay tuned for the details on that. We'll be doing part 2 and having some other guests and continuing to talk about this important topic, as well as what it means to be in Mystery School.
Vasamanaya Swaha. Ganesha is an elephant-headed god. His energy dissolves obstacles of all kinds. Listen to the mantras and dissolve all obstacles. Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chadurabhujam Prasannavadanam Vyayed Sarva Vigno Shreem, Hreem, Kleem, Klaum, Gang, Ganapataye, Vara, Varada, Sarvajaname, Vasamanaya, Swaha. Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chadurabhujam Prasannavadanam Jayed Sarva Vignopashantaye Shreem, Hreem, Kleem, Klaum, Gam, Ganapataye, Vara, Varada, Sarvajaname, Vasamanaya, Swaha. Ganesha is an elephant-headed god. His energy dissolves obstacles of all kinds. Listen to the mantras and dissolve all obstacles. Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chadurabhujam Prasannavadanam Jayed Sarva Vignopashantaye. This chant comprising of magical sounds will dissolve obstacles that lie in the future, unseen obstacles, unseen. Shreem, Hreem, Kleem, Klaum, Gam, Ganapataye, Vara, Varada, Sarvajaname, Vasamanaya, Swaha. Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chadurabhujam Prasannavadanam Jayed Sarva Vignopashantaye. Shreem, Hreem, Kleem, Klaum, Gang, Ganapataye, Vara, Varada, Sarvajaname, Vasamanaya, Swaha. Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। श्रीं ह्रीं क्लीं क्लौं गं गणपतये वद वरद सर्वजनमे वसमानाय स्वाहा। Ganesha is an elephant-headed god. His energy dissolves obstacles of all kinds. Listen to the mantras and dissolve all obstacles. Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chadurabhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayeत् Sarvavighnopashantaye. This chant comprising of magical sounds will dissolve obstacles that lie in the future, unseen. Obstacles unseen. Shri Shri Hri Kli Klaum Gang Ganapataye Vara Varada Sarvajaname Vasamanaya Swaha. Shuklam Bharadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chadurabhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayeत् Sarvavighnopashantaye. Shri Hri Kli Klaum Gam Ganapataye
Hi, everyone. I'm just going to do a sound check to make sure that we can see and hear okay. I'm going to just pop out into this view. Is this good, Ambika? Yeah. Okay, great. So we'll get started 1 second. Let's just get this set up here so you can see the lovely Muruga. All right, so it looks like we're good to go. So greetings, everyone, and welcome to Fly Center's Skanda Shasti. Get ready to connect with Muruga in 2018. My name is Sucharita. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a longtime Fly Center teacher and student of Dr. Pillai for the past almost quarter of a century. It's coming up to that. And it has been an amazing journey. One of my first experiences with Dr. Pillai working with the archetypes was through understanding Lord Muruga. So I didn't know anything about Lord Muruga. And when Dr. Pillai introduced me to the teachings, it changed my life forever. And so I'm so happy to be sharing the teachings with everyone today and how we can get connected in the coming days. There are going to be 6 power times, so 6 days to celebrate connecting with Lord Muruga, who is an archetype in the collective unconscious. So right now we're operating from our individual consciousness. What we don't know about ourselves, we kind of go diving deep into our old ways of being. Maybe we have some insights through astrology. Maybe we have some insights through our past lives, or maybe we have insights through this life of all our experiences, our trials and tribulations, our successes, our failures. And what happens is that becomes limited because our problems, even though they may seem like long-standing problems, and we keep trying to resolve them in the same way because we haven't dug deeper. We haven't gone into the unknown. So Lord Muruga will help us to open up our intuitive selves. Now, how do we do that? Well, we have this operating system called the chakra system, and it consists of psycho-spiritual centers that are aligned with our spinal column. And then all these centers activate our psyche, our intelligence, our soul, our ability to tap into the energy of archetypes such as Lord Muruga, who will help us to open the third eye. When we open the third eye, meaning the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, the midbrain, and fire up the whole brain and all the chakra systems, then we are really firing on all cylinders. We can connect with our highest selves, our intuitive selves. And then this archetype, who is in the collective unconscious, meaning behind the scenes, the power behind time, behind the scenes. So the power time to connect with Lord Muruga is during Skanda Shasti, and he is going to help us to resolve things like enemies, problems from competitors. Why are we always fighting? Why are we always conflicting, finding ourselves in conflicting situations, or we're in conflict in our own mind? We don't know what we're doing. We don't have clarity. We're confused. We're upset, and we're run by like anger, frustration. We get easily triggered. So he takes care of all that. He will help to root that out from deep, deep inside of us so that we won't have to experience all the pain and the suffering that comes at the level of our psyche, and also at the level of our intellect, because we don't have clarity, we're confused, we don't know what to do next, we don't know what decisions to make. So he will be helping you to be so precise in your decision-making ability. And he will also help you to conquer those inner demons. So even if we have long-standing issues and we've gone in to therapy, or we've helped ourselves to come out of addictions or problematic relationships that led to divorce, or perhaps family issues that are long-standing. So anything to do with the relationships, either with ourselves or with others over our lifetime, he will root that out and smooth it out for us. And then he also helps with health issues, because if we don't have a If our mental ability is instability, then we'll never feel calm, we'll never feel clear, we'll never feel peaceful. Even when challenges come, we should be able to be like a warrior, where we're just going into battle in our everyday life, and we're fighting those inner demons and we're fighting those outer demons, and we have to get things done. So he will help you to stay calm. You will be that eye in the storm. Everything can be storming around you, but you will remain calm and centered and focused. So he also helps you with health issues at the level of the body. So the physical challenges that we have. He will help to give you more energy so that you can go get the help that you need. Remember, being on the spiritual path means that you're going to get insights. It doesn't mean it's going to resolve your issue if it is a long-standing chronic issue or even an acute issue at the physical level. You may need intervention. People come and they say, I'm so depressed, I want to commit suicide. He will help you to get real about that. It's not going to help you, your soul, or anyone else. You're just feeling alone. And that's what Lord Muruga will do, is he will connect you to people who are in crisis management clinics, or your doctor, or your friends, your family members who you thought you wouldn't be able to go to. So you can go to those kinds of people. He will push you to do that. So he will give you the energy, the willpower, that resolve inside of yourself that, hey, this isn't what I'm all about. If I'm a spark of the divine intelligence, I am God. And so Lord Muruga will help you to realize that and come out of your funky situation, no matter what level it is or to what degree it is, or for how long you've had it. So he helps with that pain at the level of the body, the mind, and then the pain at the level of the soul. God, what is that? It's that crying for no reason. It's that going into despondent behavior where you're just like, I don't get life. I don't care about it anymore. Look what's happening in the world. This is crazy. How can this be going on in the 21st century? What are we doing to one another? What's the purpose of life? So he will answer all those questions by wiping all those doubts out. Everything that is happening is because of God, and God is doing everything. So you have the God inside of you, that God consciousness. So what is God? He will reveal that to you. And as Dr. Fly shares, and as all the masters have shared from the lineage, that Lord Muruga is the God of Om. He, in fact, taught his dad Om, because his dad was busy getting distracted with otherworldly and galaxy universal things that he had to attend to. And so then he forgot the meaning of Om. So Lord Muruga went, well, I know the meaning of Om. So I will teach you, Dad, the meaning of Om if you let me be your teacher. I will have that status of teaching my father Om. And he thought about it and he goes, well, I guess I better get the teaching from him. So there's a place called Swami Malai, and that is a power spot where Dr. Ply is going to be taking people to in the first way to connect to Lord Muruga, which is the purpose of this webinar. And it is going to be coming up this week. You can check it out. Maybe Ambika will post those links that we're going to be talking about, the different ways to connect with Lord Muruga, on the chat here. So you have easy access to it. And as we're sharing about it, you can take a look, or you can take a look later. So there's a power spot in Kumbakonam, and it is also called Swami Malai. It's a temple where Lord Muruga taught his dad the meaning of Om. So some people are going from all around the world now. They've been invited to, and you are as well. And you never know. I just heard from somebody today who said, oops, I'm going to have to cancel my meeting with you because I'm going to India. I'm going to go be with Dr. Ply. And I went, awesome, cancel the appointment. I don't mind at all. You're going to go get empowered, and you're going to be understanding the meaning of Om, and Om is God. So in all cultures, there's a version of Om. Amen is one. Amin. So all the cultures, religions across the board, since times immemorial, adapted this meaning or understanding of Om in their scriptures and then they tried to give it to the people. So with Dr. Pillai, he's an enlightened Siddha master, meaning he's perfected God consciousness, and he wants us to experience it. And so little by little we will, and with Lord Muruga, he's going to open that up, open that consciousness up. So today we're going to understand how to connect with the veil, which is a lance, and this is what it looks like here. It is a spear with an Om symbol on it, and this is the Tamil Om. And so you can see, if you have the Om, you can, this is your backbone, this shaft of the veil is your backbone, and then the head of the veil or the spear is your brain, your third eye. So when you connect with this veil, we're going to do a little bit of a meditation. We're also going to invoke the blessings through Lord Muruga, through activating his archetype, through the statues we have here in front of us. And then we're going to experience inside of us what is God. So the runway for Om is your chakra system and the third eye, which is also part of your chakra system. So it's all aligned in the spine. So those are the secrets that will get unfolded or unveiled as we dive into Skanda Shasti, because this is when he's going to be here for 6 nights, battling the forces of ignorance, not only for each and every one of us on an individual level, but on the whole world level. Right now, the earth plane, the earth is going through this constellation called the Pleiades. It's a star constellation, and the Pleiadian energies are all about healing, and we need it. The whole planet needs to be healed, but not everyone is going to wake up or be able to understand at that deep, deep level how to connect with their highest selves, how to connect with God so that the divine can come and heal. Because we can't do it one at a time, but collectively, if enough of us access the third eye and know and understand that Muruga is a part of this Pleiadian constellation, his consciousness is readily available for us, and we can really tap into it, then who knows what could happen during these 6 nights, 6 days that are coming up of Skanda Shasti. So that's why we really want to make you to be alert, pay attention to this warrior inside of us. We have to awaken it. So that's another way we can access the grace and blessings, is to participate in awakening this spiritual warrior, this Pleiadian God, who will lead the way to you to access all your divine self. So all the chakras will come alive. All that energy inside of you that is no longer serving you, that is causing enemies, diseases, debts, financial debts, another thing that people suffer from all the time. Everyone lives on credit. So credit card debts can be exhausting on so many levels, not just on the financial level, but exhausting, worry, anxious, and the whole body gets exhausted and you can't get out of it. So he will also help to give you the consciousness to find a way out. Maybe you might start with getting lesser payments, monthly payments, we get so dinged on the interest on those payments on credit cards. So maybe he'll find a way out that you can get lower payments to start with. And then you will also start to realize, I need to get into savings consciousness. My spending consciousness is out of control. So he will help you to do that. And if you have the veil, you can put it in your wallet, or you can have it in your pants pocket or in your purse. You can have it in your car. You can have it at your desk. You can have it everywhere. So you are bringing that intelligence into you. So these sacred objects and the ritual that we're going to do today is not something that is only limited to people who have studied Hinduism or they're part of Hinduism. Everyone can do this. This is sacred technology. This is sacred scientific technology. If you do this, then this will happen, something will happen. So if you participate and honor the different aspects of Lord Muruga, you get into knowing him through his different symbols, through his mantras, through offering flowers and light and incense and fruit and water, abhishekam, you give them a bath. These are the kinds of things that we're going to go through quickly in our little demonstration today, and that you can participate in through the Awakened Warrior program that is offered through Apply Center. There's also, and that offers 6 initiations. So there's 6 initiations that will be given during the Awakened Warrior course. And then there's another course called the Plating God of Wisdom. And the Plating God of Wisdom, there's 4 mantras that you can get into deep inside of you, you can get connected to. And mantra means to protect your mind from negative forces so that you can communicate with this divine being who will help you to overcome enemies, diseases, deaths, litigation. Oh my God, that's another one. People who have had lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. Like, why me? Why am I always in lawsuits? And I'm not a lawyer. Or I know lawyers who are in lawsuits themselves. They've had lawsuits going against them that they've had to fight their whole life. Car accidents, any kind of accident is related to Lord Muruga. Problems in relationship, big issues that Lord Muruga can resolve. So getting access to these 2 Apply Center Academy courses, if you want to do the 6th initiation course, the Awakened Warrior course, you can practice one of the initiations each day. And Dr. Ply takes you through that process. So those are the 2 ways you can do that. And then also the 5th and the 6th way are, the 5th way is through audio practices that are offered through Apply Center. And you will help to activate the 3rd eye, get into your intuition, go inside and connect with this spiritual energy and find out what he's all about. The more we know about someone, then you will get to go and do things with them. And you'll want to, because they will become your new BFF if you really like them. So Muruga is all about getting to know that warrior inside of you. It's not about getting to know an archetypal figure outside. This is, as Dr. Ply shares, and even in the Bible, in all the cultures across the board in the sacred writings, they say God made man and woman in his own image, meaning there has to be an image that we can relate to so that we can understand who it is that we're connecting to. Just like if you're a doctor, you're also a mother. You might be a brother, a sister to someone. You might be someone's friend. So you have all different aspects of your being. And you have, and in those aspects of your being, you use different things. So if you're a doctor, you have a stethoscope around your neck, usually most of the time. You know, if you're a mom, maybe you're running around doing stuff with the kids, and you know, you're going to a soccer game and you're dressed up in your tracksuit. So you're not wearing the same clothes as you would to the office. You know, if you are a sister, maybe you hang out with your sister and you go hiking, so you wear different clothes. So this is what happens when we start to understand what the archetype is. We can totally relate it to how we are in our lives and how to connect with each other in our lives as well. So, and then the final way, the 6th way, is to listen to the free webinars, the free services, the YouTubes that are offered. So all those 6 ways to connect with Lord Muruga. So going to see Dr. Ply in person, and then also virtually. If you cannot make it in person, we are so blessed by Dr. Ply. He's going to live stream the teachings from India, from the power spots, from Himalayan, and perhaps other areas. We don't know. We never know with him where he's going to go and take everyone. So we're going to get a live stream opportunity to view all the teachings and whatever meditations or mantra practices or special rituals that he is going to be offering in India at that time. So I just heard now, we can't promise that. There we are in the moment. So let's see what happens. It might end up being recorded and given to us. So regardless, oh, it is online. In the moment, here we go. So it is online. Please go check that link that Ambika is going to post to the chat so that you can see it. And then so those will be the ways. So in person or online, you can get the teachings, the latest and greatest teachings during this Skanda Shasti by Dr. Pillai. And that will help you to be in the now, to be present to this energy as we are on this earth plane, hurling through this Palladian constellation. And then feeling what that feels like, having that warrior type energy to fight the battles of everyday life at the level of the body, mind, and soul. So then the second way is to sponsor Vedic technology such as fire labs and prayers. There are so many beautiful prayer services and fire labs to spark up or fire up that energy inside of us, to purify our body, to purify our mind, to purify our soul. When you participate either in person, if you're in India and you happen to be in Chennai and you go to the AstroVed Remedy Center, God bless you. It's such a great opportunity to be there with all the priests chanting. You go into a different space. It feels like you leave the planet. You have an out-of-body experience. And that's what Lord Muruga will do. He will take you out of your mundane life. Not that you're going to space out. You're going to be feeling totally present there. There's heat, there's chanting, you can hear everything, you can see everything, but your subconscious mind or your unconscious mind connects with the collective unconscious, and you just go to places beyond. So that's the food for the soul, is this Vedic technology that will be, you can participate at various levels through Pillai Center. So Ambika will send you that link as well, or post it onto the chat there. And then, so that's going to be the second way. And then the third way and the fourth way are through Pillai Center Academy. Awakened Warrior is the 6 initiations. You can do 1 initiation each day and work on that and feel that open up your conscious and your subconscious and your unconscious, bringing all of it deep, 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 deep in from the depths of your soul to the outer experiences of the space that Lord Muruga hails, in the space around us and in the space above us, where things can happen very fast. And through the Pleiades, again, a healing energy that we're all going through. This is a natural shift that's happening, and we are going to be experiencing that awakening inside of us. So more intuition. And then the Palladian God of Wisdom, again, it's going to be 4 different teachings, and then that will activate your intuitive sense, your intuitive self. So that is going to be happening 3rd and 4th ways, and then the 5th and 6th ways are through audios, either paid through Pillai Center or audios and YouTubes. So we want you to be able to do everything. So those are free. You can do something every night or every day during those 6 days and connect with Lord Muruga. Whether you can afford to do anything or not, time is everything. So we don't want to waste time and say, well, you know, I don't have money, so I can't connect. You can. So you can listen to this meditation that we're going to go do today, right now, or momentarily, and we're going to connect with Lord Muruga. Look at him, he's away. And we have 6 statues here. So 6 is a number for Lord Muruga. 6 meaning the 6 major chakras. So the 6 major chakras in the system, we want to activate them. There are 6 parts of the brain that we want to activate to have holistic thinking, clarity, so we can go into the midbrain, the 3rd eye, which consists of the pineal, pituitary, and midbrain complex. So this is the pituitary, the spot between your 2 eyebrows, and then a little bit back in the middle of your brain is the pineal. So those 2, that's where you will feel this energy going in, piercing the spot between your 2 eyebrows, and then going about midpoint and then expanding and opening up like a flower or lotus blooming. And that's, you know, then that will open up the crown chakra. When your crown chakra is open, it's miracle consciousness, because you're just getting downloads all the time from the divine. So the right thoughts will come to you, not karmic thoughts that are causing problems. So you will experience clarity, hopefully, or you'll experience some sort of energy coming into you, or some presence. Maybe you'll feel some heat or tingling, or maybe there will be some sort of will get resolved, or you'll think of a way to get it resolved. So this is how the divine works, kind of whispers in your whole body mind apparatus, and everyone will have their own experience. As we can see, Lord Muruga, he's surrounded with red. That is his color. So if you start to see things in your everyday life that are red, then he might be, you might just watch your thoughts, just observe them and say, there's Lord Muruga, wonder what he's telling me. And it might be he gets you out of some tough situation, or you find some resolve. So you can chuckle as your situation gets resolved or your issues get resolved. And then you just go, whoa, instead of seeing red and getting mad, I saw red and I got happy. So he will help to, as Dr. Ply shares in the Ply Center Academy courses, Awaken Warrior Palladian God of Wisdom, that we cannot move on to higher states of being if our heart is not open. And so Lord Muruga will open the heart. He will make us to go from the head into the heart, and then we will just be making that to be a part of our everyday life. We won't have to think too much. We'll just fall into our heart, and that heart-centered calmness, peace will be there, and then that will bring back the energy to us to make the right decisions about whatever it is that we want to do. So he's a very loving, very compassionate, a very beautiful God. In fact, his name means beauty. So each God has about 108 or 1,008. There are lots of names that each God has, just like we have names. We have a first name, a last name, we might get married and have another name. We have nicknames, we have middle names, we have all kinds of names. So it's like that with the divine beings. They will respond to all the different kinds of names, and each name will mean something a little bit different